As the migrants' caravan marches towards the north, the U.S. Army troops have begun to secure U.S. border with Mexico. The Army has deployed more troops to halt caravan of migrants from entering. U.S. President Donald Trump earlier this week had said that the U.S. could send as many as 15,000 troops to the border with Mexico as he hardened his stance against the Central American migrants. The Border Control Patrol Police have efforts come as the Americans prepare to vote in the crucial midterm polls. Former American President Barack Obama held a campaign rally in the U.S. state of Indiana ahead of the country's crucial midterm polls. Campaigning for the Democratic Party, Obama urged people to vote in what could be seen as a veiled attack on President Donald Trump. Obama said that he doesn't just make up stuff while talking. The midterm polls are being touted as a litmus test for Trump and his Republican Party. The first migrants from a large caravan traveling through Mexico towards the U.S. have arrived in Mexico City. They have taken up temporary shelter at a local stadium. Many of these migrants have walked or hitched from the Gulf state of Veracruz, arriving exhausted and hungry. Now, though many will march towards the U.S. border, some say that they prefer to stay in Mexico. President Enrique Pena Nieto has called on migrants traveling through Mexico to register so they can participate in a temporary work program being offered by the government. Some migrants in the caravan making its way through Mexico towards the U.S. are selling cigarettes, candy, shampoo and other odds and ends to help pay their way north. Migrants are using the money to pay for food and to hitch rides as they trek through Mexico. The South Pacific archipelago of New Caledonia voted against independence from France in a long-awaited referendum that capped a 30-year-long decolonization process. The result was welcomed by French President Emmanuel Macron. A yes vote would have deprived Paris of a foothold in the Indo-Pacific region, where China is expanding its presence apart from denting its international reputation. The referendum was the first auto-determination vote to be held in a French territory since Djibouti in the Horn of Africa voted for independence in 1977. French PM Edouard Philippe is in New Caledonia, where he will hold talks with the political leaders. The visit comes following the territory's vote to remain part of France. On the final count, 56.4% of people rejected the proposition that New Caledonia became independent, but the winning margin on New Caledonia might cause some concern in Paris as well as Australia, which has been alarmed by Beijing's designs in the Pacific and its investments in island nations. A Bahraini court handed down life sentences to 3 senior opposition members, overturning a previous acquittal on charges of spying for Qatar. The court sentenced the leaders to life in jail for transferring confidential information and receiving financial support from Qatar. While 2 leaders were tried in absentia, the third leader is already serving a 4-year prison sentence for inciting hatred and insulting the Interior Ministry. Bahrain imposed a boycott on Qatar last year, along with Saudi Arabia, the UAE and Egypt, accusing Doha of supporting terrorism. Chinese President Xi Jinping and his wife hosted a banquet in Shanghai to welcome distinguished guests from around the world who will attend the first China International Import Expo opening today. In the next 6 days, a total of 172 countries, regions and international organizations from the 5 continents will showcase their development achievements and international image to the world. Chinese President Xi Jinping met with Vietnamese Prime Minister, who had welcomed to attend the opening of the first China International Import Expo in Shanghai. President Xi said that the year marked the 10th anniversary of the establishment of comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership between the two countries. Xi also said both sides should work together to maintain maritime peace and stability and advance cooperation. Russian President Vladimir Putin laid flowers at a monument on Moscow's Red Square to mark National Unity Day. Putin, along with Russian Orthodox Patriarch Kirill and other religious leaders, laid red flowers at a memorial dedicated to Russian Duke Dmitry and merchant Kozma Minin, who led a victorious revolt against Polish rulers in Moscow in the year 1612. Putin instituted the holiday in 2005 to replace the annual Soviet-era celebration of the Bolshevik Revolution. The Prince of Wales, along with his wife, the Duchess of Cornwall, arrived at the Jubilee House in Accra, Ghana, to attend an official welcome ceremony. The President of Ghana was present to greet the royal couple of Britain. The duo will head to Nigeria as their next destination. Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte visited Sicily after at least 12 people were killed by severe weather on the island, bringing the overall death toll from the storm sweeping the country to 29. Conte met Sicilian authorities before flying over flooded area in a helicopter, meeting families and doctors in a hospital and attending an operational summit in Palermo Prefecture. Torrential rains have triggered floods and landslides in the European nation. The Kerala police has deployed nearly 2,300 police personnel, including 20 commando teams and over 100 women police personnel at the Sabrimala temple. The temple reopens today for 2 days. This is the second time the Hill temple will open for devotees after the Supreme Court allowed women of all ages to enter it. The security has been beefed up in the wake of violent protests during the last monthly prayers. Dozens of people in a southern Indian town of Rameshwaram took to the streets to protest a court ruling that overturned a ban on women from entering a temple. The protest in Tamil Nadu state also come ahead of a review hearing on November 13. Hardline Hindu groups say that the prohibition on women of menstrual age entering is required to appease the temple's chief deity, Ayyappan. Now, many have threatened to commit mass suicide to prevent women from entering. The residents of Turtuk village near the India-Pakistan border are demanding a road to be built between the village and Khapulu village in southern Pakistani Kashmir so they can meet their relatives residing there. The direct road is expected to shorten the distance significantly. Currently, they have to go all the way to Wagha Atari border in the Punjab state, which is over 800 kilometers from the village, and then travel to the relatives' village in Pakistan. With the influence of electric series of lights and wax scandals dominating the Indian festive market for a couple of years, traditional earthen lamps or diyas are reclaiming their place ahead of the Diwali celebrations. Potters in the northern India were busy preparing diyas. Potters in the Varanasi city said that they were making over 1,000 lamps in a day to meet the surge in demand. People are choosing indigenous earthen lamps over electric lights, owing largely to social media campaigns highlighting the plights of the temporary street vendors. "10,000 torches lit the moat of the Tower of London to commemorate the centenary of the end of the World War I, inaugurated with the last post sounded from one of the towers. The display, entitled Beyond the Deepening Shadow, will run for 8 nights leading up to the Armistice Day anniversary on November 11th. Now the tower moat will be illuminated by individual torches lit by volunteers, many of whom have a family connection to the World War I.